Hello YouTube and welcome to Spintires. Now I know it's been a while since my last video and I apologise for that, but I just had to show you this game. Now as I said, this game is called Spintires, and what I'm actually going to be showing you is the tech demo that was released I believe June last year, so it's a tad old now, but the reason I wanted to share it with you was because the full game is actually going to be coming out next week. Now I really like this game. I've been following it ever since I heard about it on Kickstarter, and it's essentially an off-road simulator. So what I want you to do is, I'm going to be pulling into a very muddy bit soon. Now watch the tyres. Just watch how they deform the ground, sorry. So ready, as you can see, I'm pulling into this thick mud, and my tyres are just going through it and actually deforming the mud itself, and that will actually be persistent in the game. Now also within this you've got very useful things like four-wheel drive and diff lock. Now four-wheel drive is quite obvious. All-wheel drive, it puts power to all the wheels, so in this case essentially eight-wheel drive. Now diff lock is slightly different, so the differential will essentially allow tyres to spin at different speeds. Now this is very useful in a road car when you're, for example, going around a corner. You want the outside tyres to spin faster than the inside tyres so they don't burn up. However, when you're lacking for grip and one side is spinning like crazy and the other side's just stuck solid, you want to have a diff lock which will force all the tyres to rotate at the same speed, giving you that extra little bit of boost to get you out of trouble. Now at the moment what I'm doing is I'm just going around this little hill course they've put in the tech demo. As you can see, it's got some really thick mud, some nice steep hills, and the game is actually really beautiful. It just looks fantastic for an indie game, and a game that this is the studio's first game. They've been working on the engine for 6 years though, and I think that really shows. The terrain is beautiful. The woodland scenery is fantastic, and there's even a day-night cycle in it, and you'll probably see that as the video goes on. It'll transfer from light at the moment to day, and there's also seems to be a dynamic weather system in it. I've been driving around when suddenly I've had thick fog. I haven't yet had rain or snow, but you know, fingers crossed that'll actually happen at some point. Now what I'm doing at the moment is I'm playing it with a Xbox 360 controller. The tech demo doesn't currently have steering wheel support, but they're hoping that the full game will do. In fact, they've said that the full game will have wheel support. So I think that'll be really interesting. Now the full game, your objective essentially, is to transport lumber, so wood, in 1980s Russia. So this is a 1980s Russian truck, and you'll essentially be trying to go through all this hideous terrain, transporting lumber from one part to another, and all the while trying to battle essentially the ground. The ground's going to be your enemy. You've got to pick your route carefully, and I mean, I've seen some of these maps in videos people have posted from the beta, and these maps are huge, like humongous. And just to make life more difficult, the full game has full truck damage, so if you pound over the hills like I've been doing in my truck, you will hit something and you will damage something. They also have fuel consumption, so you're going to need to refuel as well. Now, how this plays in, and what I think is going to be really good, is that the game has cooperative multiplayer. Now that means that, say, you could be driving the lumber truck trying to get the wood through, and your friend could be driving the support truck. Now the support truck could be towing, say, something that can repair your truck or refuel it, or just have a massive crane in it to pull you out when you inevitably get stuck. Now this is actually the dev version of the tech demo. Now what this means is that the development tools have been released to the community, and this has allowed them to make amazing things. So this tractor here it's not actually made by the developers. This was made by the community, and I've just added it in. And look at it, it looks fantastic, it sounds fantastic. All the parts are wobbling correctly. You've got the driver in the cab sitting on his chair wobbling around. The smoke's modelled realistically. The engine sound fantastic. And this is all just goes to show how dedicated the developers are to modifications. Now the community, as well as having all these vehicles, have also created entire maps. One that I've played is a map called Nowhere, where you're essentially trying to find all these little campsites hidden around an absolutely huge map, far bigger than the tech demo map that's supplied with. And what the developers are doing is going to open up their full game to modding as well. So you could have all kinds of different trucks, even like APCs or road trucks, so like a Scania, could just be imported into your game and you can play with it. I mean, that just sounds fantastic to me, and I really cannot wait for this game to come out next week. It's something I'm probably going to be playing with one of my friends, just trying to get as much wood as you can from one side of the map to the other, and just supporting each other along the way. I think it's going to be such a fun little game. Now, as you can see, it's getting night now, and the day-night cycle is actually both equal in length, which I think is really interesting, because usually in games it's the other way around, the days longer than the nights. But I think this has quite an interesting dynamic, because the game actually looks quite nice at night, especially when you have headlights on. Hopefully I'll turn on my headlights soon, because I'm commentating over a video I recorded earlier. As you can see here, I think I'm demonstrating differential locking there. So my tyre was spinning like crazy, I engaged diff lock and I can drive out of the ditch. It's really quite handy. Now what I want to do in a second is I'm going to cut to show you the first truck I was with, and I really wanted to demonstrate the suspension and how good that is. Because they've put an awful lot of effort into this. So first off, we're going to show you a hill climb. So this is just me having a lot of fun trying to get the truck up this hill. And there's lots of different challenges like that. You essentially, in the tech demo, you have to set your own challenges. But in the full game, that's not going to be a choice. You need to get the wood from A to B. B's up a bloody great big hill that's full of mud. You're not going to have a choice. And I just love how detailed these models are. I mean, they've put so much detail into it. They've obviously taken a long time to try and get this done. So hopefully now I should turn around and go down towards the testing grounds, if I can get at this mud truck. Yep, there we go. So we'll take you down, and when we go over this, I just want you to see what the suspension is doing. So take a good look at what the suspension. Oh, okay. See, I've done a trick for you, a nice little flip. So what we'll do is we'll go over these little bumps, and I really want you to have a look at the suspension, because it's really quite incredible. It just shows how much detail these people have put in. And while you're looking at that, if you have a look down in the description as well, you can download the tech demo. I'm going to put a link to it there, and I'm also going to put a link to buy this game, to pre-order it. I have, and I really cannot wait for this game to come out. I think it ships with 4 maps and I think 6 or 7 trucks with a variety of different attachments. So I think that'll be really interesting. I think there's going to have a lot of replayability, a lot of gameplay opportunities. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you want more information, I'll hopefully put up some videos once the full game comes out. But as always, like, comment, subscribe. If you've tried the tech demo and enjoy it, please give me some feedback. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks very much. Bye.